Okay, welcome back everyone. This is question 6. This will be the last question of our impossible quiz. We're going to use a scroll bar here, and basically I'm going to use the scroll bar to flip through a series of pictures with the idea that once I scroll to the end and choose the last one, I would be, I guess, done the game in this case. Otherwise, I would move on to the next one if there was going to be a next one. Quick comment in case it's not clear, I made a background that's white here. I just, having selected the form, went down to background color and chose custom and white, with the idea that what I want is to be sure we can actually see the scroll bar fairly well. I think when you run it, it looks okay, but on this screen it doesn't look that great. So I'm going to load some pictures in here. This is a picture box, sorry, and I've named it Pick Display. This arrow, if you remember, allows me to choose my images. And the first time I did this, or the last time I did this, I guess, I used a local resource and I loaded in a picture. For the most part, that's what you end up doing. But in this case, I want to load up a project resource file because I want to have the ability to switch between Big X and several other pictures. So for now, I'm going to keep Big X in there. It was already available to me from Form 2, I guess. And so that'll be my default picture. And if it's not selected, normally normal would be the default. You want to make sure you choose stretch image so that the image fits the box, however big you make the box. Now I'll load up some more pictures here, and I'll put Ray in there, I'll put Bugs in there, and I'll put C3PO, and then I will put the end, and last one, no entry. And hopefully, yeah, whichever one's up is the one that shows up. I'm actually going to leave it with the very first one, array in this case, just because it happens to be the first alphabetically, and I'll leave that as kind of my default. Now, basically what we want to do is we're going to work with the scroll bar. There's not going to be any real content anywhere else, at least initially. So the scroll bar, double click on it, and it brings me up to horizontal scroll bar 1 scroll. This is the default sub. I can zoom in a bit now that you sort of have seen that. And now to use the scroll bar, we're going to use the value property. So there's a property in here called value, and the value is going to have a value of 0, 1, 2, sort of whatever we allow it to be. And what I want to do is I want to check to see if that value is a 0. If it is, then I want pick display dot image. So we want the image of the picture display to equal a specific picture. And this is just kind of the way it works. Picture display dot image equals my resources. So basically, it's going into the resources that I have available, and it's going to choose, I'm going to make array as the first picture, and then similarly I can do an else if, and I'm going to make the second picture the big X. So now it says if the value is 0, use the picture array. If the value is 1, use the picture big X. And if I can do that without making quite so many mistakes, I can kind of copy paste a few times. And I think that's probably all the images I have. And so what I want to do then is, if those are all the images I have, and I'll check that in a minute, I want to make sure I limit my values to be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So back to the form, and here is my scroll bar. Now down here, value is 0 to start. I want to indicate what my possibilities are. So small change, so a couple things here I guess. Small change indicates how much my value will change by each time I click on my scroll bar. So changing by ones makes sense. There should be a minimum value here is going to be 0, and the maximum value, I think, is going to be 4, unless when I checked this I determined that there were other images that I was missing. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so no entry I kind of missed, eh? And so what I will do, go back into here, and let's put in the last option here. Because it's the last option, I'm just going to leave it as else, and it's the no entry. So now I have all 6 of my different possibilities. Go back over here. I want my maximum value to be the 5. And now just before we test it, I do also have to change large change here to be a 1. It was something else, now it's a 1, and that should allow me to, as I click on my arrows here, scroll through the various options, and then coming back, same thing. If I jump ahead, you can see that I'm still scrolling through the exact same options as I would have the other way. So that's the majority of the work as far as getting the scrolling to work. The last thing is sort of how do I want this actual question to work. The idea here is I'm scrolling to the end. So basically I want to be able to scroll to the point where it says the end, which we know is option 4. So scroll bar has a value of 4. And then I want to have them click on last one. So scroll to the end and click last one. And of course last one is going to be a special label, and it's going to say if the horizontal scroll bar 1 has a value equal to 4, then let's do a message box saying you win, else go through the typical decrease lives and do whatever it is that you have to do at that point. Okay, so last time here, scrolling through, I click last one, nothing happens because I haven't set that stuff up. It says the end, I click last one, and it tells me I win. And I will also probably want it to close the last of the forms. And now everything is gone. So I'm going to stop there, and I'll make one more video afterwards showing how to do the checking to see if the lives is 0, and allowing us to go back and edit each of the original forms to kind of get that whole, if I hit 0, close up everything, tell me I lose.